Scott Bailey from AAP joins us. Scott, the last time we were talking was during that amazing Ashes series last year. Well, overnight last night, we've just seen two incredible test matches, two amazing finishes, two real kind of surprise results, the away team winning. Man, this new form of the game called Test cricket, I wonder if the younger generation after can actually latch onto this at some stage, do you think?
Oh, geez, I hope so. It just shows though, doesn't it? Like, someone made a great point to me last night that, yesterday's test match at the Gabba, or this week's test match at the Gabba, will always be known as the Shamar Joseph test match. When was the last time that you could recall a T20 being recalled as someone's match? I guess Carlos Brathwaite.
Yeah.
At the World Cup. That's about it in 2016. Sorry, can we pause 1 second? Sorry.
I think I should start in my room.
Okay, I'll go check it out in 5 minutes, okay, darling? Okay, you stay out of your room and I'll go check it out in 5 minutes, okay? Okay, well, sorry. Okay, I'll be there in 5 minutes, okay? Just stay out of your room for 5 minutes, okay?
This is lovely, mate. This is lovely. This is beautiful. This is library. This is great.
We've spotted a spider in our room, apparently. It's all right. When I finish this, we'll go have a look at it, okay?
Okay.
You stay out of your room for then, and then we'll go in there. Okay, let's go do this, and then we'll go do that.
Stay in your room, darling, and practice your forward defensive shots, okay? That's straight bat, okay? That's what we want, straight bat. Look, it was brilliant, mate. And let's just concentrate first on the Gabba. And some of the stats. The Windies hadn't won an Aussie for 27 years. First time they'd bowled you out since 2009, and the first pink ball test lost by Australia. Remarkable.
Just incredible. And you think about the last win in Australia 27 years ago, and the kind of names they had in that team: Brian Lara, Carl Hooper, Jimmy Adams, Courtney, Walsh, Curtly, Ambrose. The list goes on. Compared to this side, which had, let's be honest, when they got here, we were all scratching our heads going, how terrible is this series going to be? They had 7 uncapped players in their squad of 15. A couple of other guys that only played one test match. So for them to come out and do what they did yesterday, as you say, at the Gabba, pink ball test for Australia, just don't lose. And also, even Australia's record in recent times against sides beside from India and South Africa in Australia. I think it's the first time Australia has lost to a team other than those guys since 2011. And put that in perspective, when South Africa beat Australia here in a test in 2012-13, they were ranked number 1 in the world. When India has come here twice and beaten Australia, they've been ranked number 1 in the world. South Africa did it once when they weren't number 1, but they would have been close to it. For West Indies to come do it, ranked number 8 in the world, we all know the issues that are going on in West Indies cricket. It's quite remarkable.
Yeah, and for those of us of the aged stage, I mean, we look back, I was actually penning a piece for this test match finishes, and I've just had to rip up and throw away about, and it was about the disappointment of the Australian cricket summer. Pakistan and the West Indies just come here as cannon fodder, and they just both get beat. So to tune in yesterday, I mean, honestly, did you believe that the West Indies could win this on the final day?
I mean, after day one, I sort of had the feeling that if West Indies could bowl like they did in Adelaide, then they were in with half a chance. But it was, it was a big if, wasn't it? I think it was a largely optimistic view of Test cricket to think that was possible, especially considering it just felt like the kind of pitch that once you got through the new ball, it was pretty easy to bat on. Going into yesterday, I mean, when Smith and Cameron Green were batting the way they were, it to me felt like it was game over. Australia would win that one quite comfortably, and then all of a sudden, obviously, Cameron Green, Travis Head going quick succession. You go, well, maybe. Just maybe. And then I think when Marsh and Kerry went, it was like, well, this isn't maybe, this is on here. And it was great. I mean, it's so rare you see test matches go down to the wire like that one did. We spoke about that a bit during the Ashes, obviously. So it was great that it got to the conclusion that it, I think.
Look, and here in New Zealand, Scott Bailey, AAP, with us providing great coverage of Test cricket Ashes last year and this West Indian win yesterday, takes us back to that Hobart Test and so many parallels. You've got an Australian batsman carrying his bat through the innings. It gets under 10 runs. You've got a New Zealander on debut, Bracewell, who got a 5 for. You've got Shamar Joseph, and that fantastic story comes from a village of 350 people. It takes you, 3 aeroplane rides, 2 boat rides in about a month to get there from any of the other islands. All of these kind of things. The guy's got a broken toe, Scott. He's got a broken... He arrives at the ground, he says he's not playing. He doesn't think he'll play.
Mate, I said on his first or second day of Test cricket that I think this guy has arguably the best story in Test cricket this century. I'm now certain of it. It's not arguably, it's locked in. I mean, the fact that, he comes from a village where in 2018 they didn't have the internet, and it's, as you say, a 6-hour boat ride away from the nearest town. He goes there as a security guard a couple of years ago, plays a bit of cricket while there. They look at him and go, this guy's got some talent. Last February makes his debut in professional cricket, and then comes out in Adelaide last week and gets Steve Smith for the first ball he bowls, Marnus Labuschagne a few balls later, a few overs later. That's a pretty cool story. But then to do what he did yesterday, take 7 wickets after returning with a broken toe to win a match for the West Indies that they never looked, no one ever thought they were going to win a match out here this summer, or a Test match out here this summer. To do that, look at it would take some doing for it to be beaten as the best story in Test match cricket this century. I'm aware there's still 76 years to go, and I won't be around for all those 76 years. But, I think you can lock it in.
Spider's obviously still there.
Sorry about that.
Just hand the ball to Joseph. I reckon the way he's got it on a string, mate, just tell you what, one bounce, he'd squash it against the wall, no question about it.
Exactly right.
What does it mean now, though, for New Zealand? Because looking at Cummins afterwards and the disappointment there, I feel that we might be getting a bit of a backlash here now.
Well, it's funny that you say that. Like, I actually thought Pat Cummins was relatively... I'd say he could see the silver lining of the result. Like, I don't think Australians never like losing, that's a fact. But I think Pat Cummins sort of looked at that and went, you know what, that's probably, I can see why that's a good story for Test cricket. Like, he sort of alluded to that in his press conference, that he could see the positives in that. As for what it means for the New Zealand series, I mean, I think that you look at New Zealand and say that if they can trouble Australia's top order again with the ball moving, now I don't think the ball hasn't moved as much over there as it was, say, 10, 15 years ago, but if they could trouble Australia's top order with the ball moving around a bit, maybe we could see similar results. I don't think Australia's batting has been that great this summer, even going through the Pakistan test. So, I'd like to think we see a similarly competitive series in New Zealand. What have we got? 2 test matches, maybe one's one-sided, one's close, a bit like this West Indies series. But, the chances are there for New Zealand to course a similar upset, I would suggest.
How has the reaction been the next day in Australia? Because as I said, look, and it's no disrespect at all. What it is it's actually a mark of respect that when Australia loses a cricket test, the whole rest of the world celebrates, because it just doesn't happen that often. I mean, it's a bit like, I suppose, if the Wallabies ever managed to beat the All Blacks again, or actually get that Bledisloe Cup back, mate. I mean, it's now a generational thing. So, when you consider 27 years and that West Indian side of the 70s, 80s, it was just such a strong side. It just devastated batting lineups everywhere around the world. So to wait that long, what is, I mean, does the average Australian cricket fan, do you think, like somehow the fact that the West Indies actually proved something?
Oh, I think so. I think that there's certainly been, I haven't heard a lot of talkback radio this morning, but my gut feel is, and from what I've seen on social media, is, I think Australians are actually okay with this result. That, or there's certainly a fair section of them that are. I think if Australia had lost the series, then it'd be a different story. If West Indies had come here and beat Australia 2-0, there'd be, coronial inquest on how does this happen against a side that's in the position they are. But I think that, a lot of Australians look at this and go, this is good for Test cricket. Everyone wants West Indies to be strong again. We've all bemoaned the fact that they aren't strong. I think there's a real sense that this is a good thing for Test cricket, that West Indies have been able to do what they do. Hopefully it means that Shamar Joseph and co will stick in Test cricket. He alluded to that fact yesterday. After that, so hopefully that means that next time they're here, they're just as strong and Test cricket can thrive. So I think there are genuinely a lot of Australians who are quite okay with this result. I mean, I know I am. I think it's great for Test cricket, and I think a lot of Australians sort of feel the same.
And let's just go back finally to that. And I know that obviously you got a little one with you and you're busy and things, mate. But just it's the difference between something that's meaningful and something that's memorable and something that's there to fill what I call black holes or television time. We'll be talking about these 2 test matches that happened in Hyderabad and Brisbane for as long as we keep talking. Yet at the same time in the world at the moment, there are 4 separate T20 competitions going on. Look, I don't want to bemoan the form of the game. I understand it and things like that, but I just think that, how many reminders does the world of cricket need, and those that run the game, Scott, that this is the best form of the game of cricket? You've got to do everything in your power to preserve this.
I think everyone knows it's the best form of the game. The results yesterday are stunning. Just in terms of, it's the first time in history we've had 2 tests decided by less than 30 runs on the same day. Just some of the stats, obviously 2 bowlers taking seven firsts to win a tight match in the 4th innings. I think it's only happened 9 times in Test history that bowlers have taken 7 in the 4th innings to win a test by 50 runs or less. Both happen on the same day. But, the reality is that they are able to make, a lot of countries and all the players are able to make a lot of money out of T20 cricket, and that's the lucrative format of the sport in a lot of countries. So while Test cricket is so important, and we talk about better revenue, better share of revenue from the ICC and all that kind of stuff, I'd love to see a world where Test cricket, we see an increase in Test matches, and we see West Indies and all these nations, New Zealand playing 3 Test series more often and whatnot, but it still seems a long way away from actually happening, doesn't it, where we get back to where Test cricket was, say, 30, 40 years ago. But I think, if anything, what yesterday serves as a reminder of is that Test cricket needs to be preserved, and even if it's not back to what it was in the 80s or 90s, it still needs to exist, and we need to find ways for it to exist in the calendar, where we don't have situations where, South Africa are touring New Zealand while the SA20 is on, and, South Africa are therefore sending the kind of squad we're seeing sent to New Zealand this month. I think there's ways in which Test cricket can better coexist with T20 cricket and franchise cricket, and maybe, just maybe, yesterday serves as a reminder that has to be done.
God bless Test cricket. It just makes you feel great to be alive, doesn't it, after you see something like that?
Oh, it was a great day of viewing yesterday. I don't remember a better day of viewing. I mean, the Ashes had some great moments, but in terms of just 2 matches going at the same time that were brilliant to watch, and essentially just 12 hours of entertainment, I don't remember a better day of watching Test cricket than that.
Devlin.
Oh my goodness me!
The platform.